Welcome back, folks. Rudy Giuliani today scolding the left's media propaganda machine, calling out their bad behavior. And you know something? He's not wrong. Take a look.
I know you keep reporting falsely that we have no evidence, that we have no specific acts of fraud. That's because the coverage of this has been almost as dishonest as the scheme itself.
As the president continues to remain out of sight after his election loss, his allies are flocking to TV to push their baseless claims that the election was stolen.
The American people are entitled to know this. You don't have a right to keep it from them. You don't have a right to lie about it. And you are.
Despite these baseless claims of voter fraud on social media, right-wing social media for the most part.
Ma'am, you are lying.
I think that
You're lying. You're lying. Well, continue to lie. I'm not going to.
I went way over their head.
Ma'am. Okay. Let me answer the question.
You don't think this president has lied to the American people?
No,
you
I
have
don't
to answer
think the
that question
president has
first.
lied.
He
I
has
don't think
never
the
lied to the
president has
American
lied.
people.
No, I don't
Kayleigh
think the
McEnany,
president
your
has
credibility
lied.
will be
I
shot
think
with my
CNN
audience if
has
you don't
lied
back
to
off
the
that
American
statement.
people.
The censorship that is going on in this country right now by big tech and by big media is almost as dangerous as the election fraud that we're revealing. Maybe just as dangerous.
Stop deflecting. Stop blaming the media. I'm tired of it.
All right.
John Roberts is tired of it. Go figure. You don't have any right to be tired of it. You know what the American people are tired of? The American people are tired of the mainstream media lying to them on a daily basis. So tired of it that even Fox is taking part in this nonsense now. It's why so many people are flocking to Newsmax. I'm absolutely delighted to have them along, too, by the way. Because we're not going to lie to you. All we want is the straight scoop. That's all everybody else out there wants. You want to hear about bad Fox has gone off the rails now? We played this a little earlier, but it's worth playing again because this stuff does matter. The truth matters. This is Kristen Fisher. Roll it.
Well, that was certainly a colorful news conference from Rudy Giuliani, but it was light on facts. So much of what he said was simply not true or has already been thrown out in court. And, Giuliani, he opened by making this really bold and baseless claim that a lot of this alleged nationwide voter fraud that he's referring to all came from one centralized place. He called it a nationwide conspiracy. And yet he failed to provide any hard evidence.
He did. He supplied all kinds of evidence. The media continues to claim the Trump team has no evidence. Is absolutely bullcorn. All right, I want to go to our two guests now. Joe diGenova and Victoria Toensing, part of the Trump legal team. Joe was at the press conference today with Rudy Giuliani. A lot of allegations here. Fox says y'all are a bunch of liars now. Joe.
Well, Kristen Fisher and the rest of the Fox team are fools and liars. The news conference today provided ample evidence. Now, what is evidence? Evidence is people saying something that they saw. Today, Rudy went through a series of affidavits, sworn statements about what people saw by way of corruption of the voting and counting process in Michigan and in other states, Pennsylvania. So the notion that Kristen Fisher can get up and say that there was no evidence presented, she's a disgrace to journalism, or what's left of it. And as for John Roberts, I think John stayed too long at the fair.
Yeah.
Well, I was at the press conference also. I was there also, Grant, and it's just Rudy laid out and quoted from a woman's affidavit in Detroit, where she said she was trained to backdate documents that were received late, and she was told not to recognize any defects in any of the ballots. That's pretty hard evidence.
If you can't recognize defects or actively try not to recognize them, this is why we've seen so fewer ballots were thrown out of this election than they were in 2016. The question now becomes, how do you prove it besides the sworn statements? Is that enough to get a judge to throw these out? Do you throw out all the ballots? You throw out the whole election, guys? What do you do here?
Well, here's the thing. What you just said is very important, Grant. Statistical analysis. We have stats statisticians and mathematicians going over the returns that are now in and are available. What they are doing is they are going to show that the anomalies are so out of bounds that the results are not believable. And so therefore, that is evidence in and of itself. That statistical analysis, expert by expert witnesses, is admissible in court to prove that there was fraud. Now, the people at that news conference today, the journalists, and Kristen Fisher at Fox, are not smart enough to understand that. I'm delighted they're journalists because they would never be on one of our juries.
No,
but here's an extra fact that we need to hammer home, and that is that on top of all of this, the training not to see defects and so forth, not one Republican could observe the voting process.
Counting.
The vote counting process. Sorry, that's the big deal, and that happened all over the country, and that's what Rudy's talking
about. That's at the core of the conspiracy.
No Republicans were allowed to watch.
For all of this. That's at the heart of this. For years and years, as long as I can remember, I'm 51 years old, you've had monitors watching people count the ballots, and it didn't happen. Why? And it seems to me awful fishy. Joe diGenova, Victoria Toensing, to the both of you, as always, keep up the fight for us. We're all praying for you. Thank you.